The battle for Greenland may not begin with missiles. No army may land. No foreign flag may replace Greenland's own. Control can shift through money, contracts, and dependency quietly, legally, one signature at a time. The most effective takeover may be the one that never looks like a takeover. The first battle for Greenland may not look like war. It may look like a signature. Washington's interest in Greenland is not new. At different moments in history, American officials have looked at this island the way a buyer looks at property, something to be acquired, not a place with its own people. That habit has not disappeared. Outsiders still talk about Greenland before they talk to Greenlanders. Denmark formally holds responsibility for defense and foreign policy, but Greenland governs almost everything else. Its parliament in Nuuk, its own elected leaders, a growing independence movement that has waited generations for this moment. Greenlanders have said, again and again, not for sale. It's a powerful line. It is also, on its own, not enough. 56,000 people cannot outnegotiate nations with trillion-dollar economies and global militaries simply by refusing. Every offer that gets rejected can quietly return in a different form, a new agreement, a new partnership, a different name for the same interest. The question was never whether Greenland can say no. The question is how many times it can say no while still needing outside money to keep its hospitals running, its planes flying, its towns connected. Every foreign power insists it respects Greenlandic sovereignty. Every foreign power also wants Greenland's decisions to bend in its direction. Both statements can be true at the same time, and that is exactly the problem. Somewhere in Nuuk, a document could already be sitting on a desk, waiting. Greenland is not for sale. But influence does not always require ownership. Greenland wants to be free. Its public system, right now, depends heavily on money that comes from Denmark's support that pays for schools, hospitals, and salaries across a territory larger than most countries and populated by fewer people than a mid-sized town. Independence, politically, feels inevitable. Economically, it is a much harder question. A sovereign Greenland would need revenue of its own. Ports, airports, housing, energy, reliable communications across thousands of kilometers of ice and coastline. That kind of money does not simply appear. It could come from outside, and each source would carry its own price, even when that price is never written into any public document. The United States could offer security guarantees and investment. Europe could offer grants and a path into Western trade. China could offer something faster, mining capital, construction crews, and infrastructure built in a fraction of the usual time. Any of these could accelerate the end of Danish control. Any of these could also start a new kind of dependency, one with a different flag attached to it. A country can be legally independent and still be strategically dependent. Greenland could gain its own foreign ministry, its own seat at international tables, its own flag raised over Nuuk while losing the ability to control its ports, its cables, its mineral wealth. So the real struggle isn't independence versus Denmark, it's a smaller, colder question underneath. What kind of independence can Greenland actually afford? The fastest path out of Copenhagen's shadow could be the fastest path into someone else's. The United States does not need to own Greenland. It only needs to use it. American forces already operate from Greenlandic soil under long-standing defense cooperation, a foothold that is small on the map and enormous in a crisis. That foundation already exists. What could come next is expansion. Longer runways, deeper ports, new radar arrays, satellite ground stations, fuel depots, aircraft shelters, undersea listening posts. Each project could be announced separately, defensive, temporary, framed as cooperation. Together over several years, they could turn the island into a permanent northern military platform. No single dramatic moment would mark the shift. No ceremony, no headline announcing a change in status, just infrastructure, appearing gradually, one contract at a time. And each project would also bring real benefits, jobs, transport links, search and rescue capacity, investment flowing into towns that have waited decades for it. That is precisely what would make refusal difficult. Turning down a runway upgrade is not the same as turning down an occupying army, even if the long-term effect edges toward the same direction. If Russian activity in the Arctic increases more submarines, more exercises, more incidents near NATO waters, pressure on Greenland to accept a larger American and NATO presence would only grow. Denmark would likely support it for alliance security. Greenland might accept pieces of it for the money and the jobs, while resisting anything that looks permanent. This is not America against Greenland. It is Greenland trying to take American protection without becoming an American military dependency. America may never need to buy Greenland. It only needs Greenland to become impossible to defend without America. China does not have an Arctic coastline. It does not need one to seek Arctic influence. Mining concessions, airport financing, undersea cables, research stations with dual-use potential, shipping routes that could matter more each year as ice retreats. These are the tools, quiet, commercial, difficult to challenge directly, through which long-term access can be built without a single soldier crossing a border. Any serious Chinese involvement in Greenland would immediately alarm Washington and Copenhagen. The response would likely come fast. Counteroffers, diplomatic pressure, private warnings, delivered through allied channels. Europe, meanwhile, would push to keep Greenland tied to Western financial and political institutions, worried about losing an Arctic foothold of its own. Russia's position is different. It may not be able to invest in Greenland openly, but it doesn't need to. It benefits simply from division. Distrust between Nuuk and Copenhagen, friction between Greenland and Washington, cracks anywhere inside NATO's northern flank. Some officials fear that cyber attacks, leaked documents, and coordinated disinformation could become part of that strategy, tools built specifically to widen those cracks without ever being traced to a single source. Local disputes that once stayed local could suddenly draw international attention. A mining permit, a union dispute, an environmental protest. Any of them could become a pressure point for a foreign power looking for leverage. Not every foreign-funded project is sinister. Most, probably, are ordinary business. But in a territory this strategically positioned, even ordinary decisions can carry military weight. Who controls the port? Who owns the cable? Who processes the minerals? Who holds the data? The country that ends up building Greenland's future may never own the island. It may simply decide what the island is allowed to do. Imagine the announcement comes. Greenland declares an accelerated path to full independence. In Nuuk, the flag goes up, and for one night the celebration is real. The strategic crisis begins the next morning. Denmark wants an orderly transition, one that keeps Greenland inside the Western security structure. Washington moves fast, a security treaty on the table, backed by investment and expanded military cooperation. Europe offers development funds and diplomatic recognition. China offers something else entirely: mining capital, port construction, fast money with few conditions attached, at least on paper. NATO wants a guarantee, quietly but firmly, that Greenland will not drift outside the alliance. Russia, for its part, publicly praises Greenlandic self-determination, while privately, some analysts believe, welcoming anything that strains the alliance from within. Greenland's new government has to decide, almost immediately, who can operate its bases, monitor its waters, and develop its resources. Then a government network goes dark, a cyber attack, cause unconfirmed, leaked documents surface, accusing one political faction of secretly promising military access in exchange for support. Protests split the capital between independence loyalists and those pushing for closer foreign alignment. Foreign intelligence activity, always present but usually invisible, becomes harder to ignore. Ships and aircraft begin appearing near the coast, explained away as exercises, research missions, protective patrols. No invasion happens, no war is declared. And yet every major power on Earth is quietly fighting to shape the first decisions of a brand new state. Greenland could become fully sovereign on paper while being pulled in 5 directions by offers it cannot afford to refuse. Its first treaty as an independent nation could define its next 100 years. Greenland may win its independence from Denmark only to discover that every great power was already waiting for the door to open.